Governor Akeredolu, in talking about cervical cancer prevention, he will share his experience in his successful district project and inspire you to get involved. Finally, First District Governor Ogunbadejo will enlighten us with the success story of Vocational Training Center in Ikorodu. At the end of the uninterrupted presentations, we will have a question and answer session to classify gray areas, if any, and ensure your understanding of the presentations. Before we go ahead with the business of the day, I will call on our imaginative Oshelere District Governor, Otere Anomotunde Lawson, who is the brain behind this Zoom presentation in the comfort of your homes. We welcome you to this bumper edition of the STAR program. DG, it's over to you. That's what's happening. My DG, it's over to you to welcome us. The recording of what? My DG, it's over to you to welcome us. He has muted herself. My DG, it's over to you. Can you welcome us, please?
Yes. Distinguished Rotarians, good morning once again, and you are most welcome to this yet another edition of this virtual breakfast strategic training for action in Rotary. I am delighted to welcome all our facilitators in the house this morning, starting from District Governor Kamoru Omotosho. You are most welcome, sir. I appreciate you for driving this training thus to welcome past District Governor Wale Ogunbade, the offer of a time and service. Past District Governor Jide Akeredolu, you are most welcome. You are highly appreciated, sir. Yeah, the Chief of Staff, you are highly welcome. Our media officer, thank you for the service. Fellow Rotarians in the house, imaginative presidents, assistant governors, past assistant governors, past presidents, committee chairmen, and all Rotarians that are online. Good morning to you all and happy weekend. I am delighted to once again welcome you to yet another edition of monthly refreshing training for action in Rotary. Truly, I mean, this is something that one cannot underemphasize the impact on those who care to join and those who care to tap into the wealth of experience and knowledge of our distinguished facilitators that have always been here every month to discuss with us. This is an open forum where we all have time to actually ask questions and to interact effectively. So once again, fellow Rotarians, I want to thank you for joining. Please send this link to all those who have not joined. Members of your club that are not here, please, you will send the link to your club's platform that you have as many as possible. And remember, this training is not only for you. If you are here, we will try to take it as a train the trainers kind of a thing. Whatever you have listened, you have learned, you have heard today is best utilized and best and for improvement in our clubs. If you go back and then we share the trainings with our members. Once again, I want to welcome you and good morning.
Thank you, my DG. So we start, without wasting more time, we start with Chief of Staff, Segun Adewabi, who will now advise us to give the overview of disease prevention and training and treatment. Thank you, Segun. Over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, fellow Rotarians. I'm here to talk about a topic that is so important in our life. And that probably explains why I decided to make it one of the areas of focus. And that's disease prevention and treatment. So we're going to go through the overview. And the outline is going to be in three-fold. We're going to talk about the why. Why do we need to do disease prevention and treatment? The goal, what's the goal of doing disease prevention and treatment? And what are the action steps? What are the action steps that you have to take when you do disease prevention and treatment? On the why disease prevention and treatment? You all agree with me that anyone that has a disease goes through a sizable amount of pain because the ill health, usage of productivity, can't do anything that you have not to do. And at the same time, it also comes with a pain that goes to even those that have to look after you. So someone that is sick cannot really do what you do normally. And transferred effect of that is that you are able now to have someone that will have to look after you, to ensure that you are being taken care of properly. And that's the pain aspect of it. The other aspect of it is the poverty aspect of it. When you are sick, there's a lot of your resources that will have to go to getting you back to your normal state. So you take an example of somebody that has, maybe a heart. To be able to take care of such a person, there might be need to go through different surgeries and all that. And that's going to come with sizable amount of resources that you have to spend. So there are situations whereby even after expending such amount of money, you still have a situation whereby you do surgery. And then imagine the amount of funds that would have gone into that. And for some families, they don't find it very difficult to recover from that after a very long time. So, disease prevention and treatment, the why comes with pain, and it also comes with poverty. Now, there are some diseases that are taken on by Rotary. I will just list out some of them. One, malaria, HIV, AIDS, Alzheimer's, and the medical term for that again is Alzheimer's. Yes, and they call that also senile dementia. Multiple sclerosis, diabetes, and of course, polio. I'm sure many of us are familiar with most of these diseases, especially polio, of which Rotary are taking a giant step in eradicating that all over the world. Now, let's talk about the goal. The goal of disease prevention and treatment is to lessen or completely eliminate exposure to hazards that will increase the likelihood that the person will become ill. That's the ultimate goal. You want to have a situation whereby our environment is free of disease, that can hinder our productivity. So that is the main goal of everything that we do in Rotary. And so far, Rotary has spent over $1.9 billion, in the eradication of various diseases all over the world. You all know how much we have spent on polio. spent over $1.5 billion, and it's still counting. But we still have about 2 countries left to get rid of this, in the world. What is Rotary doing? Rotary is promoting disease prevention programs to limit the spread of communicable diseases. Some communicable diseases that we all know, measles, tuberculosis, yellow fever, and so on. So Rotary tries as much as possible to promote disease prevention programs to limit the spread of some of these things. Some of the programs that Rotary is involved in this area, even the Rotary Foundation LD that we all do every year, you see that we give out so many things, to people, that can help them taking care of the disease around them. Mosquito nets, give them drugs that will help them take care of even things like yellow fever and so on. You can all remember that during the period of COVID, Rotary also played a very major role in that area. Through giving out of sanitizers, and also educating people on various hygienic steps that you have to take, so that you don't have these things, happening to you or any member of the family. Rotary also educate and mobilize communities to help prevent the spread of major diseases. It also reduce the incidence and complication from non-communicable disease. Of course, we all know non-communicable diseases like diabetes, heart problems, and so on. These are chronic diseases, that are not identified from one person to the other. And Rotary also provides scholarship related to disease prevention and treatment. Rotary gives scholarships, to people that probably want to get involved in research, in the eradication of some of these very key diseases that you want to get rid from our society. Can I recall, you will see the role that some of even our partners are playing, like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the kind of resources that they have committed towards the eradication of polio, in which they have said for every dollar that Rotary contributes, that they give times 2 of that. So these are some of the things that Rotary keeps on doing worldwide to ensure that the world is a better place for each and every one of us. Now, what are the disease prevention gains? If you have disease prevention and treatment while taking care of the community, of course, it's going to reduce pain. It's going to reduce pain in the sense that you have a situation whereby you are not falling sick, the health, your productivity, is not affected in any way when you take care of this prevention and treatment. You have decreased financial loss. Of course, when you are okay, you're not going to the hospital. Resources that you can channel towards taking care of yourself will be used for better use. So you have decreased financial loss, and you have less damage to yourself, and then you have increased associated risk. Your family members, your loved ones who have to be affected in taking care of you when you are down, you are not actually affected in any way. They can go about their own business, and not a situation whereby when you are down, they will have to also inconvenience themselves by being around you, to ensure that you're taken care of. And then the quality of life will be improved if you don't have disease. And again, the availability of healthcare facilities. If everybody, is in good health, you have less pressure on our healthcare facilities. We won't have a situation whereby when you go to the hospital, you have a long queue of people that you have to join for their taking care of you, because everybody, is in good state of health, and the pressure on our healthcare facilities will have reduced drastically. So, what are different project areas that we can look at? We can support continuing education and training for healthcare workers through scholarships, stipends, and public recognition. I'm sure that there are some clubs that they do this, from time to time, in which some healthcare facilities, when they see some staff that are doing so well, they recognize them, give them awards to encourage and motivate them. Scholarships are also being given to people who are interested, in pursuing research in some areas of disease prevention and treatment that will be of benefit to the community. Then we improve and expand access to affordable health care in an underserved area. There are many areas where you have the congestion of people, but you don't have any healthcare facility there. So if anybody falls sick within that community, the risk of even having to take them to the next healthcare facility before they get there, something else could have happened. So Rotary tries as much as possible to improve and expand access to that. Our district have been involved in this area, of which my own club, Rotary Club of Ikori, played a major role, where the medical health cabin was given to a community in Ikori, and it was servicing, people in that area, and they were so excited about that because whenever anyone in that community falls sick, distance they had to travel, to get them taken care of was quite, far. And, the effect that Rotary played through the provision of that medical health cabin, through, my club and district and some other districts, around the world, was well, recognized and appreciated. Then you provide equipment that the local healthcare infrastructure can fully support. That's another project idea. Then you can support education programs that explain how the disease has spread and promote ways to reduce the risk of transmission. Of course, you all agree with me that knowledge is power, is what you know. There are so many things that happen to many people out of ignorance. When you tell them that no, don't do it, don't do that, it's not because anybody is trying to make life difficult for you. It's simply because of the implications of this that it's going to have on your health. So when people are well educated about the risks associated with some habits that you practice from time to time, then they will probably understand the risk involved, and they will probably drop such habits and have the high potential of living longer than they would have been if they continue with the bad habits that they have. Then organize activities to address risk factors such as unhealthy diet, a lack of physical activity, and the use of substances such as tobacco and alcohol. Of course, you all know that for many people, they don't understand when you get to a stage and they tell you that, look, don't eat this, don't eat too much carbohydrate, don't do this, don't smoke, don't take alcohol, let the moderation and everything that you do. They leave me alone. But the reality of it is that you get to a stage that all these things start having significant effect in your health, and you will then understand why when they tell you that don't do this, don't do that, not because anybody is trying to make life difficult for you. They're just trying to prevent things that will actually affect your lives in the future. How do we get involved? Of course, as Rotarians, we can get involved through fund scholarships, by funding scholarships for education about disease prevention and treatment. That's an area where we can get involved as Rotarians. We can create and join vocational training teams to update and improve healthcare practices. I'm sure we all understand what is vocational training. Vocational training means those are set of professionals that have to travel, to another country to teach and learn from other people, within their faith. And I'm sure many clubs, not all clubs in our district have even gotten a letter from the district, regarding vocational training team that is about to go to India. We were encouraging clubs to send the names of professionals, in their clubs that would like to be part of the vocational training team. Then identify opportunities to improve community-based healthcare through education, mobilization, providing equipment and supplies, or training healthcare services, healthcare workers. That's another area where we can get involved as Rotarians. Then we can review the disease prevention and treatment guidelines for global grant funding. So if you go to Rotary.org, you can check this out, because you can make it a global grant project as a club. And that's one of the reasons why even this year, district, is saying that we should be involved with this cluster arrangement. We clubs can come together to do bigger and bolder projects rather than small projects in which the impacts are very small. So when clubs come together, you can do big projects in which the impact will also be huge. So you imagine a situation whereby 2-3 clubs can come together to do a global grant project in the area of this prevention and treatment. The impact, So Rotarians, we are known for, to be people of action. We make things happen, and I want to encourage us that we should do bigger, bolder projects so that our impact can be better felt in the world, and the world can be a better place for each and every one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Segun, for keeping time. And please keep up your questions and answers. At the end of the presentations, we'll give you the opportunity to ask further questions and clarifications. Thank you very much. We now go to the next presentation in the same vein of disease treatment and disease prevention and treatment. I now call on Past District Governor Jide Akeredolu to lead us with discussion on cervical cancer. Thank you, Jide.
Thank you very much. District Governor, fellow Rotarians, I'll be talking today about cervical cancer. Cervical cancer prevention is one of the major projects that has been done at the district level. And it was started in 2019. And the subsequent district governors have graciously supported the program and an ongoing program. Before I talk on what the details of the projects are, I want you to have a few tips on what really is cervical cancer, so they can see the importance of that in our project, the project that we're doing at the district. Cervical cancer is the second commonest cancer in women. It's only second to breast cancer. The WHO statistics, which we gathered when we were planning this project in 2019, shows that there are 40 people that are diagnosed with cervical cancer every day in Nigeria. And there are 26 deaths every day from cervical cancer that are recorded in the cancer registry in Nigeria. That means about a woman dies every 55 minutes in Nigeria of cervical cancer. That is a terrible statistic. And these people, I can tell you, die a very horrible death. As a doctor, I've seen quite a few of them. They die a slow, painful, and agonizing death. And you always will be thinking, how can we prevent such a thing? But cervical cancer is unique. It is one of the very few cancers known to man that is preventable by just vaccination. Just a vaccine. It's when we know that cervical cancer is caused by a virus called the human papilloma virus. And this is a sexually transmitted virus that is transmitted soon after somebody becomes sexually active. And when they have that virus, it stays in them literally for life. It doesn't show anything, but usually about 10, 15, 20, 30 years after that, it starts to present itself in form of cervical cancer. And we know that vaccinating somebody against the human papilloma virus will prevent that infection and consequently prevent the person from developing cervical cancer. And the prevention is lifelong. It's not like COVID that you need to take boosters or boosters or boosters. Once you are protected for life. And you sometimes wonder, why hasn't that caught on in this part of the world? In developed countries, in Europe and America, prevention of cervical cancer by vaccination against HPV is routine. It's given as part of their national program on immunization. But in developing countries here, it's still not the case. And we only have 2 countries in Africa that have it as part of their national program on immunization. That is in Rwanda and in Senegal. The reason probably is due to cost. And when we started the program, we discovered that it costs about 11,000 naira for 1 dose of the vaccine. And every child will require 2 doses of the vaccine in order to be fully protected. With the dollar or the naira collapse in its relationship with the dollar, the amount now is about $20-something and it's getting worse. So it's a very expensive project to do that the governments are shied away from it. Even though WHO has recommended to countries to actually adopt it as a program, the eradication of cervical cancer. Now, we started this program in 2019, and from the experiences you got, you'll be able to understand the process of how the project has gone. Next slide, please. I just have a few slides to show you, what we did when the project started. Next slide, please. Okay. I think the slides are maybe not put sequentially, but one of the things, this slide is to explain to you how you can go about the projects of cervical cancer prevention. You first have to do a need assessment, which we did at that time, and it's quite obvious. The patients are there, we see them at various stages, either people who don't have it, people who have not been discovered to have it, and people who are already dying of it. Next slide. Next. Yes. And when we wanted to embark on this project, we discovered that we needed government permits. And the group of girls that needed vaccinations are between the ages of 9 and 14. This is just before they become sexually active, just before or during their puberty. If you give it later than that, it does not work as well as it should. And if you give it too early, it will not even work at all. So this group are the school-age girls, usually the GSS and SSS age group. And for you to be able to do this project successfully, you will need to be able to go to school. There are a few countries that have tried to use a different approach, but giving the vaccine in hospital or giving the vaccines on the field, and they have not been successful it's been found out that the school-based approach is the best. That's what the district adopted. And clubs that want to do it can also adopt that strategy. Go to these girls at school, they are right there between the ages of 9 and 14. And you just have a captive audience. But to be able to go into a school, you need permission from both the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education. It's quite nice that the district has this permits from both the Ministries of Health in Ogun and Lagos State and Ministry of Education in both states too. So clubs that want to embark on that project, you just need to approve the district and be able to get the permits, because you need those permits for you to be able to approach any school. If you go to any school, the first thing the principal will ask you, where are those permits? And you show the permits for the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education. And that's what will allow you to be able to access the girls. Now, because you are giving this vaccination to get below the age of consent, the age of consent is universally the age of 16. And below that, you need parental consent. And these are vaccines that are given only by injection. It's a bit different from the polio vaccine, which is oral, which can be given by anybody. The vaccine is by an injection and it needs to be given by a professional. The Ministry of Health has checked through the people who will be given the vaccines at the district level, and they are certified them, qualified to give such vaccine. So when you want to do this, usually when you approach the school, you ask the principal to help to organize a PTA, Parents Teachers Association meeting. And in that meeting, what we do is that we have Rotarians who will come and sell this idea to the parents during those meetings. And you need to have a written, informed consent of those parents before you can go ahead and give this data. What you want to do, that's the first thing you must do. And when you now get those content, that is when you can now go back and we have 80 students in XYZ school, 100 students in this school, and then you now get your vaccines and decide on the day you go and give the vaccine. Next slide. Yeah, vaccine procurement. I said a little bit about the vaccine. There's a huge shortage of vaccines now worldwide. And in fact, our supplier, who is a subsidiary of the parent company GSK, actually disappointed us that we could not get vaccines to use for a period of about 6 months. But because we paid well ahead of time, we paid as early as 2020, about a year and a half later before we started getting our vaccines. So if you want to get vaccines, there are vaccines that you can get them straight from the suppliers, but you only get minute quantity. If you want large amounts, it's going to be quite expensive for you to do. But you need to be able to secure those vaccines and keep them in the cold chain. And the vaccines we got at the district are still left with the suppliers in their cold stores. And anytime that we need them, we just ask for them, and they bring it themselves to decide we want to apply. So vaccine procurement is quite important, and you have to, because if these vaccines lose their potency because they become warm, your vaccination becomes ineffective. Next slide. Yeah, the vaccine administration. The vaccine has to be given, like I said, by a professional, because it's given by an injection. And the Lagos State government insists that when we are doing the vaccination project, you have to have an equipped ambulance with resuscitative facility. We have never had to use it, but that is one of the requirements. We must have the facilities for emergency resuscitation in case somebody reacts to that injection. We have not had any, but those are the requirements you need to have in place for you to be able to give your vaccines. And next one, and when you do give those vaccines, you need to document them quite well. There are specific documentation forms that we have at the district that we use, because some of these girls will need this when if they travel abroad and they want to go to universities, maybe in Europe or America. their vaccination status will be known. So proper documentation of all the vaccinations that you give should be well done. In that way, you'll be able to have a successful vaccination for the next slide. Well, I think that's, it's okay. That is, what our banner was like when we started the project. The Cervical Cancer Prevention Project, by the now was the vaccination against the human papillomavirus. Those are our partners. Vasipam was the subsidiary of the parent company GSK that supplies the vaccines. And we also have Pretty Health, which is the company that actually does the vaccination. They have doctors and nurses that are in the team that have to give the vaccination. And you also see the logo of the Lagos State government and the Ogun State government. Those are our partners in the project of cervical cancer prevention. Next slide. For years, that is when we were launching the project. There was the project coordinator, and then you don't have the trial card then. And when we inaugurated, that was the very first vaccine that was given to start off the project. Thank you very much for listening to us. And cervical cancer prevention is a project that is waiting for people, but the material is there. You need to have the will and also have the funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jide. That's another brilliant presentation, and I hope you take notes for your questions and take note of your questions so that we come later to address it and make it useful for you. But on the last notes, we now start to move to December properly. Let's talk about the vocational month, which we talk about, and the past governor Okunbadijo will now lead us to tell us by reciting the success story of our vocational training center in Igbobo. Over to you, Wale.
Thank you, sir. The district my governor, and the senior leaders in the house and those in the diaspora as well, those on the virtual thing. Good morning, everybody. I have the honor of presenting this paper on the success story of vocational training center in Igbobo. And the first slide on the history of the center. You know, when you applied before those wise men for the district and military, they are going to present a vision, your vision for the district. What do you want to do? And one thing I promised the right time was that I want to have a vocational center built and equipped before I leave the post. And so when I succeeded, it was on the top of my mind. And fortunately, I spoke with the then administrator of the district, Mr. Emmanuel, who brought out the file of the land that was given to us in the 90s at Ituri for a vocational center. I looked through the file, I contacted those I thought could help on some of the leadership of the doctor to see how we could fast track the section of their land, but it didn't happen. And as that was nearing for me to become active as governor, I spoke with a friend of mine, Senator Ashefa, who was able to connect us to Basharu. So spoke with Basharu, along with the Google, and as I got to the Google. I want to mention a few of the speakers. For the school I actually was the first, talking about the Ituri land, which up to now we've not been able to do it. I want to also thank you, Dr. Isaiah. He was a member of the task force when we were discussing how the year would be. And while my uncle was so negative about the possibility of making double-digit income from the installation, was one of those who inspired me and said, go ahead with your dream, see how we can raise the fund that you needed for your ticket. And because I think the first person to believe in that project, even before the year started, they have to remember from the foundation of that to fast track that project. So once we get that happened, I didn't know how to run by that time. I didn't know how to do it. I was trying to make it go. So the people I said, of course, actually, a lot of people version of us, a new team. Everybody who can study, they will go really one of the people. The chairman of the UFPD, and all the members of the board who donated us towards that. And of course, now, I like to tell my but who gave the simple biggest donation administration of 7 million naira there to make that something that will be next time. So the sat around and assessed that and then we realized that if we go after the gorilla became, for me, I realized it was possible to achieve before a year started. And as people, they took us to a place, I'm happy that my PhD is there. Before they went to that drive, it was Baraga and out smoking weed and a lot of pieces that were made at the site. But it was next to the stadium, part of the stadium complex of the group. And so the guys that been doing what they wanted of that space of land were really taking, we were told to take possession where the samples were ejected. And then we had a meeting called the stakeholders, the assured the Cabinet State Council, the FDA chairman, and even the youths. But as I mentioned that we are going to do, once the proper needs assessment, wanted to know the right place to do at that center. And the youths came up with the FDA chairman, let them many and so they say that the first they want, I said, and those are the things we started with. We signed an MOU between our districts, the Lagos State Agency, responsible to that agency for mass education, representing the Lagos State government, and of course, the we signed an MOU stating the roles of each party, and of course, that's of the ecological form, the part of the MOU we both signed the MOU on behalf of our next slide. This project was approached as a global grant because for you, please, as an example, always have an MOU signed, which is based the role of each partner, so that it becomes easier in the future to impact that MOU if any partnership reach. We have a challenge with the SDH and who, when they saw the project, they now wanted to adapt it. They wanted it to be named after the local government, very cool, and we said, no, you can't be. Check with my witness, you will say that so it's not like a war. Yeah, you cannot sleep with that side of the country. You brought the money, we rented the building, want to do matter, so you put that, and so then we have to be readjusted. And that was now led to distribute the parts of the financial support to the project, and here I want to thank my daily successors, collaborating for PDG Akeredolu and PDG Bola. Besides with I'm not trying to answer. Three is there, give us the money that we used to do the active group that because when it's growing, we get the console almost perfect. But then the road was not done, all the water from the main road gets that and gets so much. And I sent a picture of how the place was and I think the girls so gave us so much money for that year, hopefully. At the district, so I didn't want to tell people. I thought you have forgotten. So, those next 3 years, from last 2 years, I have to support the center. Where we built an events center along with the school. But we realized that we wanted to maintain the standard we have of that. You see, like the events, not the regional events, because it's. And of course, I can translate to Nigeria. But I invest because it's, I mean, totally respect, totally respect. So, as sustainability factor, we built an event center named after the families about the new delivery. And we knew that once we started using that hall, the money for that would be enough to look after the center. And that's what's happening. The money from the hall now gradually picked up. After the COVID pandemic, the COVID pandemic was bad time. The COVID also event at the center, so we have to rely on it. Okay, next slide. Well, at the beginning we had 8 courses of that, but right now they have more than 12 courses, and so they need space for more classrooms. I want to thank my governor who has promised to help with infrastructural improvement of this school. But they need more classes, they need more students, more schools, because they have to, they're not doing 2 shifts, but they can't cope with only 1 shift. Display the car. So we have at the beginning data and asset management, care dressing, event management and decoration. Make over all those people do their pay their visit. Fashion designing, telephone and computer repair, data and Akara and music. That was the idea of the director of the agency for mass education. Fortunately for teachers, the member of that community and was so happy when that day came up. So she said there was music. And I must say that the graduates of that musical school have played for us at the beauty twice. And they are so wonderful. And they are now not on their own, came all over and making money. Those are the one of the people who can show. But in communities, there are so many people who are so empowered and they do so well for their own after being at the center. Next slide. Direct beneficiaries over this is graduates from the school so far. In 2018, we had 2006 graduates, in 2019 picked up to 384. Then 2020 came down, like I said, because of COVID. Then 2021, 53 graduates, 2022, 451 graduates. So total 1677 graduates. But this year already, because the normally come in January, when I was there today to go for the involvement of the medical credits, there are already 200 registrants. So most likely that will surpass the top 200 start. And by the end of this year, we will have had about 200 start graduates from that school. Well, for all of us, we look at 2,000 ladies and young gentlemen graduates. That's a lot of impact in police. For each of them, we reserve for some other authority, and most of them, children are women. Some people who bring their children on their back. That tells you how much they truly value the education given by the center. Next step. Now going forward, what is our hope? We'd like God to help sponsor candidates at the center. Correct now, most of them don't even know about that. That's the essence of this position. For God to know about the center, you have sponsor candidates at the center. Not that they will give big money, 20,000 here, I want to sponsor candidate for 20,000, they will gladly take it. But that adds fund to it. They want to be in the center with. And when that person graduates, to be there at graduation, you will be shown at the front of that candidate that micro credit loans to our graduates, many of them know after they don't have to set up. And that's why we also build that micro credit scheme because it started in 2018. 10 million naira was a global grant. With so many costs together, Bagada South, I think we could do Metro, Ikoyi, and one of that, our factors came together to offer that global grant. And that has been revolving twice a year, that about 20 million naira, given twice a year towards the past target to the people who got environment and beyond. But we really want to be more for the very from that, but there hasn't been any nexus. I realized that at the when I was educated. And then I realized we didn't get that is telling the people there was a synergy between the school and the back credits, but I'm not responsible for that. So we also want more officials said that other parts of this because that show that within Area Center, so many youths who have been divided negative purposes. And not the main issue, they are not economically independent, they are now contributing to the economy of their communities, and that's the essence of this issue. Talk about community. Neighboring Rotarians please use the hub and compassionate given by that partner, which is now also increasing the fund. So the government cannot do it all. The government only pays for the tutors and pays for the tutors. It's the fund from the hub that we used to pay for the men, the attendant, and infrastructure. So we really need as many people to try to use the law so that the center can have funds in the school. We don't want it to become program, and we already think of the global grant to help to increase So increase one improvement and improvement because after 5 years of use, some of them are already doing bad and need to be replaced. So this is a program to help sustain and improve the infrastructure. We are appealing to all clubs. Please go there and see them, ask for what they need and see what we can do. ITER project, it's like a flagship project that everybody's trying to know this area. So please, let's see how we can help that, set that to provide and we at the level we want, not the level of the regular government positional sectors. Next step. I have some slides with pictures now to show you, for those who have never been there, this is the vocational center. That's the approach to it. You can see the vocational training center in Google. Those are some of the students that are performed just to, from the drone view, to show you how happy they are. It's obviously one competition and hotel management. You can see they are inputs. Next slide. Yeah, look, but that is not your sector. Next slide. Now, these are the ones I said, the makers of the cases and the middle class. You can see they already do what they are good at, take somebody's face there. Sometimes they don't keep doing
This is what make over, I don't say paint.
Oh, sorry, they are making up of the non-paid. I'm corrected by the
Make over, not painting.
these are the whatever I get to class and then like something together that make people something. I stand like I said, so that's the way to show the environment. Next slide. Event and decoration class, they're trying to wrap stuff and practice out for that. Next slide. Now you see the spaceship people with the cooler and things that the main people are solving. Again, the drone view of the center of some of the better. You can see there are products that are. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, this I believe is something that should be educated by either a simple trunk of stuff like Ujari, Lagos, Bagata, Agege, or those that can marshal funds, can easily replicate in that part of the district, or groups of thought, either by choice or original agreement, but we need more of this. But like I said, when I'm going to come to this, there was the Baju calls and the calls all over the state, killing themselves from Ikorodu to Ajah to Bagata to Bariga to Shoki. They will come through water to help other members of other courts. So there were so many that I know that I said that there are much less than the value cost normally is anymore. I'm not saying the data will do really for that, but if you have such data, we empower and use, and then we take them away from the negative and we make them economically independent, and they are less to be used for negative activities. This is only possible where hunger poverty is not prevail. And I therefore encourage all of us to please look at this possibility of inner sector in another part of the country. Take this as an example or template of what you should do about it. I wish all of us the very best. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Wale, for keeping time as well. And I'm happy to note that we have caught up with most of the time we lost at the beginning. And you should see today's presentations as project ideas. That is what Rotary stands for. And you can only get this with Rotary knowledge. And that's why we are appealing to you to avail yourself for this opportunity so that you can be the best you can for Rotary. Thank you very much. So the floor is now open for questions and answer session. And My DG wants to lead the pack by raising up her hand first. My DG, it's over to you. Thank you very much. Mute yourself, my DG.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you very much, sir. I can say that today's training is one training too many, one training too much. I mean, it's exciting and so educative listening to all these presentations. I want to thank all our facilitators. Let me take it one by one, please. PAG Shegwadewaku was made the first presentation. It's not a question. It's just to tell listeners that he has told us about the issue of clusters, club coming together as clusters to do bigger and bolder projects, even in the area of disease prevention and treatment. That's what I want to pick from his own presentation. Then for the presentation of PDG, Jide Akeredolu, yesterday I had a meeting with club presidents, and the question came up about how they can take part in this cervical cancer vaccination. If you recall that even in my own goals this year is to still sustain that project. So and exactly what I said is what I told them. I should go and do their needs assessments, look for a school. I was at Reagan to make a presentation on International Girls' Day, and it's called that big school of only girls. No Rotary Club had gone there, a part of that program. So I had to link the school up with Rotary Club of Akoka. And I think from that day, Akoka president has linked up with the chairman of the committee, and I think they are already on it. So this time, I mean, our PDG has told us what to do. Go and look for the girls where I think you want to service, so that we can extend the beautiful program to those girls' schools. Thank you. And finally, for PDG, honestly, I'm so excited that this came up today as a topic, because, you know, you and I have been discussing on this issue of the vocational center at Google, and I've made my promise that I will do something there. Let me first start by saying that as we speak, we are training 250 girls cut across the 5 vocational centers in Ogun State and Lagos State in partnership with the Agency for Mass Education, and they're doing well. They've done about a month, remaining 2 other months. And part of some of these students are in that particular vocational center at Igbogu. I was there yesterday, and I already commissioned someone to go and look at that center, because during the flag off of that Girls and Women Empowerment Program, district office, the director of the agency, when they came for that program, actually requested that we should help them expand the vocational center, because it's no longer enough for them to use. And I want to promise that by the grace of God, we are going to add 2 rooms to that center. I already commissioned will go there to go and do the necessary plan, and that is Odula from Bagada. So was there yesterday, and the work will start in earnest. And then I'll be happy to be part of that laudable program, and particularly to also make the place more convenient and more conducive for our learners. So thank you, my PDG, for that initiative, which I want to also sustain for the use of our district. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my DG. Even your question that cover every aspect of our training. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we're still expecting more questions before we close for the day. It's only after we got the list of all the questions the facilitators will now take care one by one. Thank you, my DG. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody?
Someone sent into the chat room. The IMP Placid. So he said, "Good morning, good morning, our FFDG, our PDGs, and fellow Rotarians. Please, my question is on the vocational training. How can a club key into the program? That's one. How can a club key into the program? Second one, what is the cost of training a participant, and how long does the training last? And the final one, is there a boarding facility for the trainees?"
Okay, some people send their questions to the chat room. We will take everything together. So if there are other questions for people to raise up their hands, then we take it. Then other people raising. Look at the screen, gentlemen.
There's no number. There's no number.
Okay, to save time, we will start answering the questions we got so far. Let me start with Segun. You have some questions from my. I have to answer the question from my.
Or it was just a comment, actually. We were just talking about the cluster, which clubs should come together to do bigger projects and how that impacts in the community. So that was
Actually, pass the comment to the Rotarians that we are expecting them to.
So Rotarians, just like the district governor said, we should make good use of the cluster arrangement that was set up at the beginning of this Rotary year, which clubs in the district have been working with different clusters to work together to do bigger, bolder projects. The whole essence is that we don't want clubs to be doing very, very small projects. We want clubs to engage in the global town projects. And most of the big clubs in this cluster arrangement, I also want to charge you that you need to take the lead, as you have been rightly giving people, to inspire all the other clubs under you, to ensure that you are able, they can learn from you. Most of the lead clubs that we have in the cluster arrangement, have the experience, and the whole idea is that the smaller clubs be able to learn from them. So I want to encourage all the clubs in the cluster arrangement. Second half of this Rotary year that we have there, make good use of it. Ensure that you are able to do bigger, bolder projects, so that at the end of the day, the people in your community can really say that yes, we have felt the right part of Rotary in our community, and they have made life a better place for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Segun. Now, Jide, can we respond to my DG questions?
DG actually asked about how clubs can participate in the Talata Cancer Project. They can do it in either two ways. They can actually join the districts in the project that is ongoing at the district level, and we'll see how vaccines left not been used, and what the club just need to do, apart from contacting the committee that they have a school available, they should identify a school in their community, and they now approach the school, that's all with the permit, the government permit that are already in the district. And when they do that, they can organize with the school authorities a PTA meeting. And when they contact the committee, usually some members of the committee that are very good at giving pep talk will come in during the PTA meeting and advise the parents. And there are usually a lot of questions that they ask, whether they think will make their kids fertile, whether the injection, like COVID injection that you will start to. You remember the injections in COVID that were said to develop into magnets. We had all kinds of questions, and you have to be ready to answer those questions. And when they are satisfied, they now sign the consent form that the district has already, and the district committee can just arrange and come and vaccinate the kids in the school you nominate. But there are some clubs, and I know one Rotary Club of Lagos Island in the last 3 years, that they wanted to do it their own, do a complete project on their own, and they went ahead with the global grants and procured their vaccines, and they vaccinated 2 schools in their neighborhood. And no, they came to the committee and they asked for a lot of advice to give them tips as to how to go about it, places to procure the vaccines, and how to go about getting the consent. They were able to use the permit, the government permits that the district has on its file. So it's either you want to go it alone or you just join the district in the program that is still ongoing. So those are the 2 options available for clubs.
Thank you, Jide. But generally, it's always good to come to the district for guidance so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, so that you get the guidance and the tips from the district. Then you can go ahead and decide whether you want to partner or you want to do it on your own. Thank you very much, Didi. Now, before
I have a question for you. How much does a vaccine cost? For each club that would like to get one should know that at the back of their mind.
Yes, it is an evolving thing because prices are changing by the day. When we bought the vaccine that we are using now, it was 11,000 naira per dose, and each child will require 2 doses. That makes it 22,000. But I know the price will have changed because the naira is collapsing, and these vaccines are dollar denominated, so they should be put into a figure. The last I had was about 18,000 per dose. Because these are given the private sector. I use some of the vaccines. I buy. I use it in my own practice anyway. So I have a fair idea what it takes. So it's about 18,000 naira as of today. And we pray that God does not allow the naira to collapse further.
Thank you very much. Before we go to Wale, let's quickly take a question from Oludotun. Oludotun, go ahead. Ask your questions.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
My district governor, and I want to observe all necessary protocol. I'm Rotary Oludotun from Rotary Club of Isolo. Talking about projects, sir. In the change maker year, our immediate past president started a project at the General Hospital Isolo, which she put all our effort to the extent that it's approaching the roofing stage. But this year, because of the financial situation of the club, we were unable to do anything there. Is there any way that the district can come to combine with us so that that center, cervical center, will be completed? Thank you, sir.
Before you finish, can you?
Okay, well, yes, I'm aware of the project that was been done at the Solomon General Hospital. I remember the concept stage, the club came to me and I gave them, some advice. Because one is a huge undertaking for ones to actually do a cervical cancer center. Because one is the physical structure itself, which you will not get support from the Rotary Foundation. And then the running up the center itself. What does the cervical cancer entail? Because cervical cancer goes, the spectrum is so wide from the stage of primary prevention, which is what we are doing at the district now, to what people call secondary prevention. Many of you have heard of, pap smears being done that people can detect pre-cancerous lesions and then be able to treat those. And then the treatment of established disease, in which you now do radiotherapy, you give cesium insertion, you do surgeries for them, and you then have the last stage of palliation, those who have a curable disease, and you are making them to be as comfortable as possible in the last phase of their life. So cervical cancer is such a huge thing. The club will need to determine what area of cervical cancer they want to concentrate on. Is it the treatment? Is it the secondary prevention? Or is it just the primary prevention? Then that is where the thing can go for. It will be almost impossible for a club to be able to finance the whole spectrum of cervical cancer care. That is what I told them, and that I think I'm being honored to experience.
That's not nice.
Thank you very much.
Well,
That's what I said.
if we want the district to come in, the district may need to actually prove down the scope of what is being done, and now just concentrate maybe on secondary prevention. You have a cervical cancer screening center, and then donate it completely to the hospital for use, because running it now becomes a different thing. You need to be able to pay staff, you need to be able to buy consumables, and it will be an ongoing thing. And with that, the solar will be able to finance that as an ongoing project.
Thank you, Jide. Just to add to it, there are some projects at the conceptual stage. You should think about sustainability. What Isolo is describing is not sustainable by Rotary standard. So I will encourage them to come to the district and discuss with the TG as well as with Jide Akeredolu to identify factor out what is sustainable. Then they can go ahead from that. Thank you very much. Chimeze, go ahead.
Good morning, my district governor, past district governor, district trainer, fellow Rotarians. Mine is more on the, first, I'd like to thank all the speakers for the wonderful presentations that they made. I'd like to direct this one to CDG Jide with regards to disease prevention. You can hear me.
Mention your club, please.
Oh,
we can hear you.
I'm from the Rotary Club of First Town.
Okay.
Yes, current bulletin editor. Okay. So I noticed that, yes, the district is doing giant strides in the area of disease prevention, particularly we are big on polio. But you talked about more of cervical cancer today. And I know that there is this, much as we are asking clubs to key into it, I also would want to say we should look at spreading our tentacles to non-Rotary organizations. I know of an organization that is quite big. It is one of the lead sponsors of the bill that's currently in the second reading of the National Assembly with regards to cancer prevention. It's called the OCI Foundation. I think that because of what they are doing, the district could also leverage on it to get more persons, more young people, to be aware of this, particularly at that preventive stage. So maybe we could also look at extending those our tentacles to reaching out to non-Rotary organizations who are doing stuff within this area and be able to leverage on it, push for attach some clubs to the localities that are closer to them, and help them also achieve the goals that they want to achieve by doing the things that we need to do. This year, I feel that doing that, just as is part of the district governor's vision, to expand on what we do as Rotarians, to partner with other organizations that are non-Rotary, we can be able to reach out to more people and do even bigger projects. I can connect. The church is in Australia, though the founder is in Australia. I have a base a trained doctor in Australia. I could connect. I could offer that connection so that the conversations can begin. And we can see all the things that we can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jide, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. What you actually touched on has to do with how Rotary collaborates with other non-Rotary organizations. It's usually a contentious issue because I know, for example, that when they collaborate with other non-Rotary organizations, Rotary wants to actually be in charge. They will actually handle the issues. When I was district governor, a lot of organizations came to me, and what they just said is that, oh, Rotary is a rich organization, please give us money for us to do this. I said, you bring your project, we will go through it, and if it's satisfied, we will then take it on. It's the same thing that occurred when Rotary was going to partner with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It took about 3 years of negotiation for them to be able to reach a consensus as to how the project is going to be done. And it's not that as many clubs or many organizations out there say, they come to Rotary, that Rotary should issue a check for them to run their projects. So most ways you can, the easiest way you can collaborate, if as a club or as a district, is that those organizations come and we key into them. But when we key into them, it becomes a Rotary project, and Rotary will handle it. And because we are going to be able to access funds from the Rotary Foundation, for example, and Rotary Foundation still has very rigid requirements for you to be able to use their funds, and that's what makes collaboration with Rotary a very peculiar thing. You have to follow the rules of Rotary.
Thank you very much. If there are further clarification, you can come and talk to the district governor, then they will enlighten you better. Thank you very much. Now, Wale, over to you.
Yes, thank you, sir, and thanks to the gentleman who was on the title. The questions are one. How can you plug into the program that is the vocational training center? If I go there, again, thank you for our offer to have 2 more persons added to the center. That's a great one. I want to thank on behalf of the community-based committee chair, the chair, and all the future beneficiary of that, yes, so thanks so much. So I can come into the program. I said it during my presentation. Club and sponsor candidates, not really too much. The guy amount to give to them, they will gladly take. But this candidates are not paying money anyway. Whatever you pay, you will take and you are next. Give a candidate the candidate, now follow that candidate up, have a talk with Ghana, when he or she finishes, and then either give a loan or do something when the graduation comes. So it's easy that way. But more importantly, I also want to go to this doctor agreement thing. As I mentioned in my year, many doctors do that for quite a lot of people. Medical company is one of them, which pays that information. Many companies said, I think $1,000 or whatever it is, and they were able to keep that with it. What's are these microcredit schemes? I told you 10 million, which are the government system. So the more clubs do projects together, the more they can do bigger, better, and bolder together, rather than this small thing we're doing. What you want the bigger unit for us, must enhance our, must increase our impact and also enhance our public image. So the bigger the prayer we do, the better for us in terms of the public image and our impact on our community. So we also mentioned this issue of clubs coming together and doing this prayer together and get the problem of not support the building. But once we read the building, whether we support the people, like Road Club of Political Communities, they rented the building and then they applied for fund for the equipment of the building. It's a wonderful place. What can there out in Ifako, Agege. And where I can see that and after the I come together and build. Look at one of the fellow, other people come and join the fellow. Finish the building and they can apply for a global grant. Of course, that thing that we say, the concept of the program must be defined. What do you know? I don't take what I want to teach you. Cost and duration, the costs are in various steps. Some come with 3 months, some come with 9 months training at the center. That's why I said they have 2 sets of sheets. So cost, they are not paying for the government. It is free. That's why I said go and go in there and help to sponsor. But the second needs money for its maintenance. And government don't give any money, government doesn't pay for the stores. The money from the event center is all the money to pay for cleaners, to maintain the generators, to pay for electricity, and then ensure that the infrastructure is not decay. So we really need money that say God can shift it, can come into where sponsor candidates and push it for money to the center to help maintain it at the level that we want. Because our name is tied to it, and once our name is there, our image and integrity is tied to it. But the facility, there's nobody facility place. They have to be able to go there on a daily basis. So they're finished. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the end of the program for today.
No,
But,
there's a question.
okay, I understand there's another question. On the chat.
Is Rotarian Adedapo.
Rotarian Adedapo.
From Shagamu Metro. So he said public schools in Ogun State are not cooperating with Rotary clubs on the project, especially in public schools in Shagamu. Some school management sabotage the efforts of clubs on the cervical cancer project, despite giving them the approval from state government, and also held meetings with the PTA. So he said district leadership needs to do more in this regard. Okay, comment.
Yeah,
Okay, yes, it's always a difficult thing, not only for cervical cancer alone, but we had a lot of issues that came up. In fact, I could tell you when we were at the ministry going from office to office trying to get this approval, there were a lot of authorities, they thought that, oh, this would go and control us of millions of dollars, and they wanted us to, bring in the money so that they can actually. I said, no, sorry. And also, these projects are voluntary. You will always have people who will say they are not interested. Please leave them alone. And you cannot force, but you need to explain the whole issue to them. The onus is on them to decide whether they want it or they don't want it. If they say they don't, I would be to quite a number of schools in which the PTA, when they will say, sorry, they are not interested, I will say, thank you very much, and we move on. So, and there are many schools in Chagamo, and, if you go to one and they say they are not interested, go to another one. And you will see people who are begging. While some are refusing, I see people still phone me. I saw this thing on Facebook. I want to do now. Why are you not coming to my daughter's school? And I said, okay, give us the contact of your principal and so on and so on. And we start the process going. And some people came to us that they are ready to pay. I will say, no, sorry, we don't collect money from people. We'll do it free, but you need to go through the process properly. So you have the passionate person who's refusing, and you have the small other person who really, grab the tail with both hands.
Thank you very much, Jide. Again, you are learning every day. You know that it's not every war you can win. You try to win as much as possible in the benefit of humanity. Thank you very much. Now, before we close, I just need to give you one more.
The DG also says the chat room that the district will invest those.
Well, for some of you who answered, who asked the question, the DG has actually comments the chat room. The district will invite clubs to key into the expansion of the Vocational Center and be part of this sustainable and highly impactful project. Thank you very much, my DG. Now, from the feedback, most of you will prefer this session to take place at the beginning of the month. We take that into consideration. So the next one in February should actually take place on the 4th of February. But unfortunately, the imaginative president decided to have a retreat on that day. It's different to them because they are our large target audience. We will shift this next one to the 11th of February. But I promise you from March, it will be taking place as the first Saturday in the month, so that it will be able to guide you to see, help you with the project you want to decide for that month. Thank you very much. In absence of
one more question just came from Tayo, the district chair.
Tayo.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, the district chair, maybe because he's shy, he's asking this question when we're about to close up. How can the district help in getting approval from Ministry for Club Projects? The approval is becoming more difficult. Who wants to answer that question? I think Jide Akeredolu has been commenting on that sort of situation, but it will be helpful if you yourself you can come to the district and discuss with the district governor in which way we can be of help. District governor has a lot of resources. Even if she doesn't go with you herself, he has a lot of PDGs can call and beckon to advise you. Thank you very much. Find your way to the district, Njobi. Yeah. So in absence of any further comments, once again, I thank all of you who have been at session. for waking up so early and for keeping with it till this time. We promise next time we'll be as punctual as possible. Thank you very much. And we can now go and have your parties on Saturdays as planned. Thank you very much. My DG, we especially thank you for
thank you very much, sir. Thank you,
coming
associated.
and staying with us. Thank you very much. We
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
your
Yes, you can, sir.
support. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And,